37476 and ORC 5553.06. This is the written report and proposed right-of-way plat as required by this office for your consideration in determining the suitability to accept the subject roadway for future maintenance. The Board of Commissioners determined at the March 15, 2012 public hearing that this document was necessary before they could reach their final decision of acceptance. The existing area shown on the accompanying plat has been viewed and inspected by this office. The plat has been prepared with enough area for a snowplow to turn around in the area shown. The pavement surface is in marginal condition and it is partly paved with asphalt and partly gravel. Some of the area included in the platted area is turf. We have spoken numerous times with the Bowling Green Township trustees, and they understand that if accepted by the Board of Commissioners, the roadway would be turned over to them for future maintenance, as they are interested in acquiring the area shown as road right-of-way for a turn area during snow and ice control operations. They have acknowledged that the pavement buildup does not meet current Licking County subdivision regulation standards, but they also believe is adequate for snow plowing operations. They in fact confirmed at the March 15, 2012 public hearing that they would accept this pavement in its current state with no improvements. Therefore, it is the recommendation of this office that the County Commissioners accept the proposed Snedden Road Extension in Bowling Green Township as noted on the proposed right-of-way plat. And that is the report that we were waiting from the Licking County engineer. Deb, do you have a copy of that for the official record, or is this the official record?
That is the official record.
Okay, gotcha. Greetings. Let's just, this is a continuation of the hearing, and typically what we would do after accepting the engineer's report is if anyone else has a comment, you're welcome to make it. And if not, we will close the hearing and we'll move toward deliberation in the next week on this issue. But in all fairness, since you've all taken the time out of your busy schedules to be here, we got everyone signed in, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Snedden down here, any comment or anything you want to offer in terms of further comment? I know you had the opportunity.
I'm just here as a taxpayer.
Gotcha.
I just want to see how this flies.
Okay, fair enough. Ma'am.
I'm here zoning. I wanted to see what the result was.
Okay.
For the landowner.
It's not anticipated that we will take action today. More than likely, we either continue or close the hearing. And we typically deliberate, and within a week, we would either bring a resolution or not.
Would it be done here again, or would it just be sent via mail?
It would be done as part of our resolution process in about a week. You could be here for the approval resolution, or it could be sent to you by mail.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have two of our township trustees, Dan or Jeff, whoever wants to go first. Do you have any other comment?
No, I don't.
No, Dan? Jeff, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have several comments.
Please do.
First of all, I just want to, on the record, I've had several calls because it's starting to come to light that this process is actually happening, even though it started apparently on my research back in August of last year. And to the best of my knowledge, there's absolutely no public record available or created at the township level from 2006 to 2011. It's been something that's come up over and over, is why the township has no records on it. Along the lines of records, I did want to also let you know that I do appreciate how well that your office has fulfilled record requests that I've put in. I hope that our township at one point can rise to that level. On the fact-finding mission, I need all the facts to find out what's occurred and how we got where we are. I do have some things that I just can't let go when I'm misrepresented. As you know, I've been on the record or as misrepresented as a board. I'm not going to just let that be part of the process that got you to the end without being noted. So, some of the records I found locally of what the problem was and how it occurred in our township. It wasn't until yesterday afternoon I actually received copies of timesheets to confirm. As you guys describe in your meeting minutes as a scriber's error, I disagree and believe that it's more than a scriber's error. There's kind of a commingling of a freeholder that was spearheading this with her duties as zoning inspector, and there's timesheet records where she was paid to do these activities. So I don't think that's right. I do recognize that those people that signed that petition are freeholders, just like I recognize that it's been brought to my attention that your office received another petition recently from 12 or 14 other freeholders, same road, which have a desire to do something else on that road. I didn't sign that petition either. I don't have a copy, but I recognize they're just as valid with their concerns with how future tax monies are paid. In reference to Mr. Lozier's letter, I don't think it accurately depicts at least the current Board of Trustees. I don't know what conversations or knowledge has transpired in the past. Personally, I do not know what the subdivision regulations are in detail. I don't recall that being discussed in any of these hearings. It indicates that we have that knowledge. I don't. As a matter of fact, Mr. Van Buren's testimony at your last hearing was more in the lines of not understanding and having ignorance on the topic. So I don't feel that this represents at least what's been heard at these hearings from that perspective.
Okay.
So I appreciate the opportunity to watch this process. There's only one other thing that I realize this whole thing appears to have been done through the level of the county commissioners. I know there are other processes. I'm more familiar with Title V. I do know a little bit about Title 55 and how it relates to trustees, primarily from the experience on Cooper Rider Road and all the things that happened there. This time I learned how the land was acquired through the county and how the trustees really don't even have to have a say in that. But I'm just kind of curious on 555302, the authority of the Board of County Commissioners to locate, alter, or vacate roads. Just wondered, is that the resolution that you're using, or the ORC that you're using for this?
I believe so. It's cited as this. The reference is 5553.06, and that's plat and survey report of county engineer.
Okay. So you're using the power where it says this power extends to all roads within the county, and that includes township roads, since it says all roads within the county.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the subdivision regulations, Jeff, address any roads outside incorporated areas, and the criterion that are in place for what constitutes a proper road and so forth, construction-wise. And those subdivision regulations they've been in place since I'm going to say the early 1970s in some form or fashion.
73 is what that means.
So you may have had the opportunity to review them, not that specific area, but that's where they're contained within that document, within the general subdivision regulations of the county. And again, it does not apply in the case of municipalities, but it does in the case of all township roads, all county roads. Nor state highways. It does not.
Right, it does spell out that it's not state highways. How does that other petition fall into this? Since it is the same road, I understand that it's...
Jeff is speaking about the petition that we received on Friday from a Mr. Stepp.
This past Friday?
This past Friday.
I've not seen that yet.
And
I don't have a copy
it was
either.
submitted to this office, and it has not gone before the Board of Commissioners at this
Okay.
time, because we have to do our due diligence in looking up if they are truly all property owners or not, and we have not done that yet.
Okay.
So they have not seen this petition.
So the
It
only
is
thing
to-
before us is this current
Uh-huh.
consideration.
They have not seen it.
In fact,
And-
this is the first I'd heard of it.
Yes. And that is to vacate Snedden Road.
Okay.
And you probably knew that. because-
So it's essentially to undo what we're talking about here. Okay.
Well, to vacate the entire road, or just this cul-de-sac?
I have not looked at the entire petition as of right now.
We can certainly get it from a record standpoint.
Mhm.
You certainly are welcome to a copy of it.
Yes, you can.
We can, if you'd like to see it, I'd like to see it at some point, just.
Mhm.
I think it's
Curious.
relevant since it's the same as
Well,
stretch
yeah.
of road.
Yeah, but we can't lay that consideration into this consideration, you know, this consideration stands on its own merit.
I can.
Well, I know, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
I mean, this is something that's just come in last Friday, and at this point, it hasn't even been before us to accept it or take a look at it.
I'd like to see it as well.
It's a public document, you're more than welcome to
Sure.
have a copy of it, Jeff.
Sure, I understand.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Anybody else have a comment?
If they
Dan?
vacate the whole road, wouldn't the landowner have to suffer the responsibility of maintaining it, wouldn't
If you vacate it,
they? Yeah.
I don't know, we haven't really had any consideration of this other petition. I have no idea.
I don't know.
That's a whole different discussion that I'm sure if it has to be had, will be had. But at this point, all we have is this petition to establish, and that's our, in fairness, you have to take them one at a time. That's the current consideration. That's what's before our board to consider. I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Wait a minute, whoa. I haven't been asked a question yet.
I said, does anybody else have anything?
Well, you finished with him, but I've been sitting here waiting for my turn. Everybody else has been asked but me.
Well,
So I've got a little bit to add to this.
would you want to withdraw your motion
I'll
to
withdraw my
conclude
motion,
the hearing?
give Mr. Snedden opportunity to speak. Sure.
You may have an opportunity, Mr. Snedden.
Okay, first thing, the letter from Mr. Closure, I'm gonna go down to the very bottom of it. It said, refers back to the township trustees of Bowling Green, that they accepted the payment in the current state with no improvement at the last meeting. Now, in the audio tape that I received, that didn't take place. And for these trustees to confirm this, I believe they have to go back to one of their meetings to bring us up to the public again. And I haven't seen anything on that. And also, under Mr. Loser's confirmation, in accordance with 04, there should have been stakes set down there for viewing by the public, which has not been done.
You said something about 04. What are you talking about?
In
accordance with
55304.
Oh.
Well, wait a minute, that might be 6. Hold on, give me a second.
Oh, is you're making reference to the
ORC.
Oh, okay.
Well, what we've been asked to act upon is the proposal that was brought forth from the township trustees requesting that we review this particular road, that we view the road and engage in the process of determining through the county engineer whether it qualifies as a public road and what his suggestions and recommendations are. He's sent them forth to us and has suggested that we accept the road and that the township trustees understand that they would be responsible for any future maintenance on the road once it is an accepted roadway. And from what I have heard here from each of the two township trustees, I didn't hear a large amount of dissension, Jeff, from you regarding whether or not you as one trustee have an interest in accepting that road for maintenance. Mr. Van Buren indicated that he did not have a problem with it. So certainly if you have something else you'd like to add or not.
Can I finish mine, Mr. Smith? What I want to address?
Let me just listen to what Mr. Corpenning has to say to my question, and certainly you'll have every opportunity to continue.
Thank you.
Well, there seems to be some attention here about the snow plows. That seems to be brought in. I am a working trustee. I've plowed that road multiple times in my last term, and the little snow we had this year.
What much snow out there this year was it?
It's more of a drive around in slush. But, as far as that turnaround goes, it's never been an issue in the past. It was always a private property.
So you went on
I
private property.
don't care if it's
turnaround.
private property, county property. I understand it's county property at this point. Is that true? Because, and I still don't know the process of it transferring to us. I guess I'd asked that twice before and still don't really know how that
Until we
happens.
accept and establish it, I don't think it's
But it
county
is your-
property or township property. It's private property, right?
It's your property according to the resolution that they did last year where you accepted it as free property. That's how I understood it.
Okay.
And that's when the plat was drawn and everything, is when you accepted it, back in August.
Well, this is just to establish, correct?
Okay.
Okay.
But as
This
far
is
as far as the
establishing-
snowplow goes, there's many places we turn around private property, county property, township property. You know, I'll turn around the plow, as long as it's a township road, I'll turn it around there no matter who owns it. But I do know down the road, it was brought up at the on-site meeting by Mr. Van Buren that this was actually prompted because it's one landowner wanting road frontage, which is not a snowplow issue. It's a residents owning a property wanting to do something with it. So,
Well, with all due respect, Jeff, that's a matter that's internal within your township. We have no jurisdiction over what the township trustees decide to do with regard to plowing or not plowing a non-public road. That's a matter that
It's
is
a
going to have to
public
be resolved either internally or with some outside counsel. But what we're here to...
I don't understand that. It is a public road and we plow it.
But that's not our call. We have no oversight over that situation as county commissioners. In other words, that if there is an issue there, that either has to come from the prosecutor's office or from some outside legal source. We are not either legal representatives to the Board of Trustees, nor are we attempting to tell the township what it can and cannot do. That is not our role.
Does the county have an issue with us turning our plows around on the land you acquired? And that would be the only...
I guess I would say we don't have a dog in that fight. Now, if there was a situation with the county, we would refer that to the county engineer, of course, who is a separate elected official also.
I understand you own that property. I understand you own that property at this point, right?
But understand, we don't have any skin in that game, so that's as succinctly as I can put it. What we're here to decide is whether or not this particular road should be approved for maintenance or not. Nothing to do with whether it's been plowed or legally or illegally.
You're just talking about the extension, right?
Yeah, we're just talking about the matter before us is all that we're considering. And we're certainly, you know, we've heard what you said about this, and I would suggest that you take up that matter with someone who has some jurisdiction there, and that's not us. The jurisdiction we have is whether or not to accept this road on behalf of the township. And I guess I would reframe my question. Do you have any other testimony regarding the acceptance of this road that pertains to the road itself, or anything that's been set forth by the county engineer within these documents?
I've already stated such.
Okay. Then I'll turn it back over to the chairman. I believe Mr. Snedden had some other comments.
Okay, you just made a statement I'd like to ask you. You made a statement about this road. Since you have dedicated the road, am I correct?
Yeah.
It was dedicated August 30th of 2011, am I correct?
Are you talking about the section that we're discussing today?
Yes. Yes.
No, we have not dedicated it.
Well, according to,
What we're discussing right here has not been dedicated.
it hasn't been?
They're dedicating the maintenance.
You're dedicating the maintenance?
We're establishing it for maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the road has been dedicated?
Yes.
Correct. Okay,
Yeah.
here's what I'm gonna lead back to. First of all, on Mr. Lozier, is there any way that they can get him to amend or recant his statement in his letter? Because it's showing that these trustees have agreed upon this, to where my understanding, Mr. Corpenny has not agreed upon this to accept this road.
It only takes a majority, just as it does with this board of 2 to 1,
Right.
to accept or reject.
Well, he's indicating that both of them had accepted this, and they didn't. That's what I'm wanting,
Both of whom?
these two trustees. In the last meeting that we was in his letter, he stated that the trustees have accepted the payment in the current state with no problem. And they did not do this. So that's what I'm saying. He's gonna have to either alter or recant this statement, because to the public, this is showing that these guys have done something in conformity without going through a township meeting.
Let me explain something to you, Mr. Snedden.
Yeah.
There are 3 township trustees.
Yes.
And what we're hearing is that in public session, the majority of that board has accepted this. Is that fact or fiction?
No, that's what he just said. This has not been done. And if you go back, the negligence on the township trustees, they haven't followed none of their rules. And here we are right now in front of you, and what it says under the regulations, that they were supposed to secure a bond. A bond hadn't even been secured over what these 12 freeholders have done.
Well, we have not heard anything until this very moment, based upon what you're telling us, that the trustees have not in fact acted within the framework of their authority.
Well, yes, you have, in the last meeting. Will Smith brought up, to my understanding,
Will Kern.
Will Kern brought up at the last meeting that they did not follow the procedures.
We understand that, but we were also given guidance by our council that the petition by those freeholders stood, and that's our consideration is whether or not to establish this extension for the turnaround purpose. I know that, and Jeff has gone out of his way at the hearing, at the viewing, the hearing, and I understand that there's been a disconnect among the Bowling Green Board of Trustees as to whether or not this, at what level this consideration was made as a group. And there may be some questions about the records, but there's no question about the validity of the petition, and there's no question from our attorneys about the validity of this consideration. For us, it's either an up or down.
Right.
Either we accept this and establish it as a turnaround and hand it back to the township to maintain, or we say no thank you and just leave it the way it is.
Well, it still breaks back down into your regulations under 04 and 06. 06 is the one that says that your county engineer had to set stakes for reviewing. This has not been done. Even presently, when you went down there was no stakes showing you what land that they had accepted.
Well, you can get into the minutia, but the engineer has spent numerous times down there taking a serious look at this, and they brought their letter, and I accept the letter from the county engineer as valid in terms of his position based on his research.
But on his research, but they haven't done anything to the validity of the people like me. You've got county money wrapped up in this, and if I wanted to go down and view that, guess what? There's no markers, and it prescribes that right in your regulations, and the regulations that you're using right now, to my understanding, this is strictly my opinion, the regulations you're using are not the guidelines of the township. You've got 3 sets of rules. You've got the state rules for the state roads, the state and the county rules for the county roads, and you've got the ORCs that represent the township. So if you're supposed to be going by township rules, which these guys are supposed to do, going through their own board meetings, this has not been followed. None of this stuff.
On the advice of both the county engineer and of our legal counsel, we feel that we have the authority to move forward with,
Okay.
Or not, with this consideration.
Okay, I guess my next question is, I'm going to ask that a special prosecutor be brought in to review the facts and go over the ORCs to find out if this has been done correctly.
You certainly have the option as a citizen.
Well, I'm asking that right now, this board, to bring us in.
I'm
to
not
review
willing
this.
as one board member to do that.
Well,
We
you
have
know,
our counsel and we have our recommendation.
well, that's all right, but I am requesting, making a formal request at this time, and Mr. Smith, Mr. Kearns at the last meeting brought this up, and you've ignored his, because the regulations was not followed. Now I'm doing the same thing again. I am asking that somebody be brought in to go over both your regulations and the township regulations on this. Taxpayers has been They are paying you guys. They have paid the county engineer, they paid the legal system. They're supposed to be paying for also for all your newspaper articles. That's a lot of taxpayers' money to do somebody a favor. To extend somebody's driveway is what you've done. A cul-de-sac designed is I did do a check, Mr. Bub, after last time we talked about a cul-de-sac, and it says it's just basically a dead end is what a cul-de-sac is. We talked before about, I thought it was a turnaround system. It's basically a dead end according to the dictionary. So I did do that, and I am filing this complaint right now, asking a special investigator to be brought in to go over this stuff.
Okay.
Because the regulations have not been followed.
Duly noted, for the record, that you've made that request. Is there anything else you want to bring forward?
No.
Motion to close the hearing?
Have a motion to close the hearing. Do I have a second?
Okay.
One more hand.
Under
Just one
discussion?
quick question. Was not this cul-de-sac actually created in 2011?
Yeah, all of it was done in 2011.
Okay, Mr. Corpenning was not a trustee in 2011. I just want to make sure you know that. And the landowner is the one that wanted to give it to the township. And Mr. Corpenning made a comment about the zoning inspector going outside of their realm and getting paid for it through our township. I am the zoning inspector. I brought it in, dropped it off for Mr. Van Buren. I had to see the planning commission the same day. This is why I got paid for coming in here. I just wanted to make sure you knew this. Nothing is underhanded. Nothing.
Duly noted.
And if this is turned over, does that make so the township gets more money to maintain that road?
If it's established for public maintenance, there would probably be a slight increase in your road mileage. But we're talking about a very slight increase.
Yes, and that's fine.
We're not talking about 6 figures of additional income.
That's
here.
fine, but it does mean there
It'll
is,
be added to your inventory of road mileage.
okay, just making sure of that.
And that would go to the engineer and ODOT if this was accepted and established.
Okay.
Okay. Have a motion and a second on the floor.
Question?
Do you have any objection to the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The hearing is concluded unanimously at about 4 minutes till 12 noon. I anticipate that we will deliberate based on the information that we have at hand, and I think it's likely within a week that we'll bring forth a decision. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.